These are the reasons for seasons, brought to you by Senna Hashimoto, Jacquelyn Liu, Christian Nguyen, and Masiha Zaranatsi. So can anyone explain why we have seasons?
I do. It's because sometimes we're closer to the sun and sometimes we're further away from the sun.
Nope, nice guess, but not the right answer.
Then why do we have seasons?
You probably thought seasons exist because the Earth's orbit was oddly shaped and at different times during the year we'd be closer or farther away from the sun. The closer the Earth is to the sun, the hotter it'll be, right? No. Actually, this isn't the case. Earth's orbit around the sun is actually quite circular and we're around equal distance from the sun all year round. So what are the reasons for seasons and what's changing if the Earth's orbit isn't changing? Based on our research, there are 3 reasons for seasons. The first reason why seasons change is the Earth's tilt. In order for Earth to rotate, it needs an axis, and the Earth on an axis is like a wheel on a bar rotating around the bar. The Earth rotates on an imaginary axis. The axis goes through the north and south poles. Most people think that the Earth's axis is always parallel to the sun, but it actually isn't. Earth's axis is tilted at a 23.5-degree angle. This means that the Earth is always pointing to one side as it goes around the sun, so sometimes the sun is in the direction that the Earth is pointing, but not at other times. The tilt of the sun means that the Earth will go towards the sun during summer or lean away from the sun during winter.
The second reason why seasons change is the Earth's hemisphere and the angle of the light. The sun has 2 hemispheres, north and south. Because of the tilt of the Earth's axis, one is always further from the sun than the other. Let's take Madrid, Spain as an example. We'll set this place as our point to prove that the different hemispheres receive different amount of light. Winter and summer applies the same way in the northern and southern hemisphere. Northern winter is December, January, and February, while the southern winter is during June, July, and August.
The third and final reasons for seasons: angles of direct and indirect light from the sun. Now, if you've ever eaten outside at noon, you can look around and see how bright it is. There's no shadows or anything. However, if you're out during dawn or dusk, you'll see these massive shadows everywhere, and it's really chilly. What you probably didn't know is that these shadows and temperatures happen on a much larger scale, and that is the reason for seasons. At different times during the year, and even during single days, you'll find it very clear that the changing angle of the sun in relation to our houses and skyscrapers can create massive cold shadows. You see, the more direct and concentrated the light is in a certain spot, the hotter that spot will be since it's getting all this concentrated energy from the sun. However, as the sun stops shining so directly and begins moving around, the angle of the light changes, and what was once concentrated in one spot is now spread everywhere, evenly. Now let's review what we've learned. Reason for season number 1, the Earth's tilt. We learned that the Earth is not parallel to the Sun. Because of this, different sides of the Earth receives different amounts of sunlight. For example, if the North Pole of the Earth was facing the Sun, the Northern Hemisphere would be summer, but most of the Southern Hemisphere receives less sunlight, and their tilt away from the Sun would give them winter. Reason for seasons number 2, hemispheres. We learned that it is not always true if in some places it's winter, in another country it's winter too. This is only sometimes true because it all depends on the country in question and where it's located hemisphere-wise. For example, in Irvine, if it's winter and it's January, that means someplace else it's also winter but in June. Reasons for season number 3. Angle of light. We learned that the angle of light affects how hot or cold an area of the Earth is. The closer you are to the source of light or the closer you are to the center beam, the hotter it'll be. When Earth revolves around the sun on its tilted axis, different hemispheres get their turn to be in the spotlight, and therefore get their turn for either summer or winter. This video was sponsored by Caramel, Cooper, Emma, and Malin. Thank you for your time, and we hope you enjoyed.